What's up guys, it's Mr. B, and today we're going to talk about a resistor. First I'm going to show you what the symbol is for a resistor and what a resistor does. Then I'm going to talk about the power rating on a resistor and how that is affected by the amount of current in the circuit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about a resistor. And when we're talking about a resistor, we're talking about a symbol that looks like this. And a resistor is a fixed item. And when I say fixed, I mean whatever the resistance is, it's not going to change. So if you want to change the resistance, you have to use something called a variable resistor. But for this lesson, we're talking about fixed resistors. So that is the symbol for a resistor, but a resistor will actually look like this. So when you're looking at a resistor, you see these lines on there. And these lines all represent things, which I'll discuss when I go over the color code on a resistor. But when you're looking at a resistor, you always want to make sure that this gold band is always to the right, and then you read your colors from left to right. So this would be a brown, green, brown resistor. And that's going to tell you how much ohmic value this resistor is. So if you were to go ahead and test that, you could figure out what the ohmic value is before you even use the multimeter, but we'll go ahead and test this one and just see what's going on. So I'm going to hook up my multimeter to this resistor and see what the resistance is. So if we look at this resistor right here, it is 149.5 ohms. So you can test the resistance of a resistor before you even plug it into a circuit. Another one I have is right here. So I have red, red, black. So I got to read it left to right. I got to put the gold band on the right. I have red, red, black. And that would determine what the resistance would be. But when I just go ahead and use an ohm meter, I can go ahead and figure out what the resistance is. So this is a 22 ohm resistor. Now a resistor is used to oppose the current flow. It will slow the current flow down. But with resistors, these items all have power ratings. And when you're talking about the power rating on a resistor, it's determined by the size of the resistor, how big it actually is. So if you look right here, this is the same color band as this resistor. They're both red, red, black, gold, and they both have the same resistance, but they have a different size, which means one will be able to handle a higher power rating than the other. And when we're talking about that, we're talking about how it dissipates heat. And when you have electricity and current flowing through them, items create heat. And if it can't dissipate the heat, the resistor will catch on fire, which I'll show you in a minute. So I want to prove to you that I am not lying to you. These are the same resistance, even though they're different sizes. So I had a 22 ohm resistor when I hooked up this guy, and I have a 22 ohm resistor with that one. So what determines the power rating is the actual size of the resistor. So this one might be a 1/4 watt resistor, where this one might be a 1/2 watt resistor, which when you do your Ohm's law and power formula, you're going to find out that the bigger the resistor is, the more wattage it can handle. So now let me show you what I mean by what will happen if you hook up the resistor to the wrong amount of wattage. So I have a power supply going to this resistor, and I have it to where there's too much watts in the circuit. And as I hook it up, you will notice immediately this thing goes ahead and catches on fire because you didn't check the power rating before you hooked it up in the circuit. So you want to make sure you figure out what the power rating needs to be before you hook it up in the circuit. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one, and you're going to notice that this one can handle the power rating where the other one couldn't because it is a larger resistor. So if you notice, this one's not smoking up like the other one did because it is a larger resistor and it can handle more watts. That's why the power rating is higher on this one. So when you have a resistor like this, It is simply a fixed item which will resist the current flow in the circuit.
All right, well, I hope you learned something about a resistor today, and I'll see you next time.